you might have negative entities feeding off of you right now. Right now, as I'm speaking, as I'm talking this past few weeks, I have had this succubus entity. You know what I'm saying? A succubus, right? We know what a succubus is, right? But what we don't understand is we create the succubus energy out of our lust being, for what I just read the other day, it's our lust that we're always generating. Because remember, lust, sexual energy is called Kundalini energy, baby. Right? There's only one energy, right? That's Kundalini, right? Now, how you interpret that energy with love, hate, anger, all this other stuff, that's on you, right? That's just your perception of how you're actually putting it in different categories. But really, there's only one energy, right? That's just Kundalini, right? And it has no name other than the Kundalini energy, just raw energy, right? You know what I'm saying? That certain authority organizations like the church has taken your sexual energy, right, which is your Kundalini energy, to express, and they've made you feel like you can't express it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, that's your energy. Because what's funny to me is like, you know, the same preacher that's telling you to, sexual sin and all this is the same dude at the strip club, you know what I'm saying, doing God knows what behind the back. You know what I'm saying? So we got to be real with ourselves, right? That's because he's got a shadow too. Now he's up there collecting a check for the bank, right? Because as you know, as I tell my daughter, the church has to keep the lights on. You get what I'm saying? And so to keep the lights on, they need your money in that bag, and they take that bag to the bank, and the bank makes that. So, we got to understand it's a business. No different than when you paying your rent or you paying your mortgage, right? So it's nothing to get in, it's not personal. It's just business, right? But as far as personal for you, you could have something feeding off of you right now, you know what I'm saying? And that could be a succubus energy or an incubus energy, when really you are creating that with your own mind and sexual attentions, okay? So how you get rid of that is what they say is ignore it and starve it, which means no pornography, no you know what, and no the other you know what. So no to yourself and no to the other person, if you know what I'm saying. I don't need to get too keep it PG, right? Because I don't know who's clicking on what. But just, you know what I'm saying, though. Kind of distant yourself from that aspect, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Starting today, I discipline myself today. Maybe like a week or 2 weeks. Just give that stuff some time to kind of, wash off. It'll flow away. It will, because it has to go feed somewhere else. Regardless, anything feeding on you has to continue to feed or it dies. So if you ignore it or let it go or release it, it will go find somebody else that's vibrating at that frequency, because thought forms only vibrate at certain frequencies of where you're at. It will have to detach from you and move on to somebody else and do what it does there and continue its little life cycle, right? So just don't be too freaked out about it. You know what I mean? You ain't dead. You ain't, everything, whatever. And just keep what you need to be doing online. You're doing good. Just keep your head up and keep moving, right?